Hello, my lovelies. It is time for another round of Better Book It. So stay tuned. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Better Book It is a board game that I created. It looks like this. And I give myself 3 days to complete it. Each prompt, like each space is a different prompt, though some of them let me move backwards or forwards. But if I complete it by the end of the third day, I get to take a spin off of my wheel of TBR, like at one of my base spins. If I can't complete it, then I have to add a spin. And if you haven't watched last month's, I highly recommend you go and check it out. I'll link it up here. It was not kind. The game was not messing around. It did not want me to win. Hopefully this month will go a little bit better. Also, a little side note, I've already filmed this introduction once already and my camera glitched out and I had to do a whole update on it. Hopefully it's all good now. I actually wanted to start this like an hour ago, so I've lost about an hour of my reading time now. But let me point this down and we will roll the dice and see what our first book's going to be. Okay, I have my little Cedric here. Got my die. Let's roll and see what we get first. 6. Okay, that seems like a good way to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a beautiful book, or a book with a beautiful cover. Okay, so I will tell you that I have another book that I'm currently reading, but I'm only like 15% of the way into it. So if I can find a place where this book will work, then I'll use it and continue reading it. But it doesn't really work for beautiful cover because it's a pretty basic cover. However, I did have something on my current TBR that I need to read that has an absolutely stunning cover. This is a special edition of Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maher. And this is just such a beautiful, beautiful edition. And I don't know, oh gosh, look at that. I don't know too much about it except that she needs a job. She needs some money for something, for whatever reason, or just, just to have a job. And she ends up taking a job as an assistant to a villain and having to like file his papers and things like that. And I guess somebody is coming after the villain or something and she's got to help. I don't know, like I said, too much about it, but I'm very excited to get into it. I know a lot of people love this book and this definitely works for beautiful cover. So I'm going to start that now and I will be back later. So I thought I'd do a little check-in with you. I am currently halfway through Assistant with the Villain. It is about 3:45. I'm hoping I can finish this today. I feel like I can. Surely I can. I've had a lot of distractions already today. So she kind of stumbles upon the villain after following what looked like a river of blood. And he ended up hiring her right away as his assistant. And because she needed the work, she took the job and has had to like deal with decapitated heads, stepping on loose eyeballs, a dead body across her desk one day. But she always is this cheerful, optimistic person. And she really is getting under the skin of the villain. Right away she was under his skin. They both find each other very attractive and are both trying to, mentally compartmentalize that and like not act on it and not show it at all. But it's cute. And something happens. She comes across a letter that somebody else has in their possession, and she still has it, but it's a very incriminating letter. And she was saving, wasn't going to say anything to the villain because she wanted to give this other person a chance to come forward. And she told them if he didn't, that she would. But before that happens, this letter gets discovered, and the villain thinks it's her, and she doesn't correct him, and he ends up saying some hurtful things. She quits, and his company is pretty much falling apart after that, because she apparently did everything and managed everything really, really well. And he's frustrated because, he trusted her, and if what he thought was true, she broke his trust. And, well, he finds out that that was not the case. And now he's like, well, crap, what do I do? Also, in the midst of all of this stuff, before that happens, somebody is trying to kill the villain, and she's trying to help him figure out who it is. And we're learning more about the villain as we go, to what his actual name is and things like that. And kind of, we haven't learned yet, but we're getting to that point where we're learning about what caused him to become the villain. And I'm enjoying it. It's super cute. All right, I'm going to get back to it. Okay, so it is 7:37 p.m. and I just finished Assistant to the Villain, and this was a lot of fun. I can't remember if I told you in my update in the middle, or if that had happened at this point, but somebody is trying to kill the villain, and Evie is trying to help uncover who it is, and obviously there's somebody within his very close-knit group that is the spy or whatever that's helping these people, and she's trying to help ferret that person out. And who it ends up being and who ends up being the bad guy and all that stuff was quite the surprise. I didn't expect that. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was super cute, and I'm giving it 4 stars. And now we get to pick our next book, and hopefully this is another good roll. Okay, so we left off here on Beautiful Cover. Let's roll and see what we get next. A 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is a Once Upon a Book Club book. So I'm going to go up to my room, well, not my room, but my guest room, where in my closet I have a massive amount of these stored, and I'll be right back. Okay, so Once Upon a Book Club. I went upstairs and grabbed just the first one in the stack. I have 3 massive stacks that are taller than me of these Once Upon a Book Club boxes, and I think one shorter too. If you don't know, Once Upon a Book Club is a subscription box. Every month you get a book. Let me show you. Okay. Interesting. So the pink box is adult. The green box is YA. Anyway, so you get a book. This one is A Betting Woman, a novel of Madame Mustache by Jenny L. Walsh. And as you're reading, ooh, tiny font. As you're reading, you get 2 Post-it notes that say to open your gift for that page. And then you go in your box and you find what gift, like each one has their own page number. Like this one's page 39. There's a big one here. Ugh. Oh, we got one that's thin, page 75. A little note from the author, bookmark, signed book plate. This is for page 197. And then this one's for page 218. Anyway, as you're reading the book, you get to open the gifts that go along with it, and it makes it a very fun, interactive story. If you're interested, I will link. I do have a referral link that I will put down in the description for you. I think it saves you a certain amount of money. I can't remember how much. You also get a little book club kit here where there's like talking with the author, some discussion questions, and there's always a little something on the back. Okay, so this tells you how to play this particular game that's talked about in this book. I don't really know anything about this other than it looks like historical, looks Western. All right, let's see. Well, yeah, the first blurb I see says a unique Western adventure. So this will be a little bit out of my comfort zone because I don't typically like Western kind of books. All right, this says, born Simone Jules, reinvented as Eleanor Dumont, and largely remembered as Madame Mustache. Down to her last dollar and facing some unsavory options, Eleanor quick-wits her way into a gambling table where she begins to deal Finch et un, modern-day blackjack. Okay. But the boom and bust of the gold rush stops for no one, nor do challenges of a man's world. Eleanor learns she must fight for her livelihood, for her self-worth, and most of all, for her legacy. Is this based on a true story? Hold on. Okay, so on one of the blurbs on the inside, it's by Kirkus Reviews. It says, based on a true story, a historical novel that focuses on an unconventional young woman who introduces the game of 21 to mid-19th century San Francisco during the California Gold Rush. The beginning of a unique Western adventure with an indomitable female protagonist who repeatedly finds herself rising out of the ashes. An enjoyable search for identity tale with a strong female protagonist. Okay, interesting. So, I don't typically like Western or, that anything in that genre, really. But I do love blackjack. I actually, so my mom was a blackjack dealer for a long time, and as kids, instead of playing like Old Maid or something like that, we would play blackjack with Monopoly money. So I'm very interested. I'm very, very interested to read this. Hopefully I like it. So I guess I'll be back when I get to the first gift, which I think was on page 39. Okay, so I just got to the first gift here. So up to this point, we're just a little bit in. So our main character, Simone, she was 19 years old and she's in France. She's set to marry this man. Her twin is also set to marry another man. They're planning on having a wedding together. They have identical dresses, all of that. And then something devastating happens, and her father and her sister are killed. And I think maybe her sister's fiance. They're all killed in this terrible explosion. And Simone was only survived because she was late getting there, and she arrived right after the explosion happened. And so she's kind of like in a fog, and she's down by the docks, and she learns that this ship is heading to California because of the whole gold rush thing. And somebody talks about how it's wild out there, and she very spur of the moment decides that she's leaving and she's going there. And when she gets there, she finds herself in this saloon, and she has no money on her, and she's got to figure out how to pay. And so she asks the owner if she can play, and I don't know how to pronounce this, but I'm just going to say blackjack. And eventually she convinces him, and she's just now sitting at the table, hopefully to get some people to join her. She says, I wish for gloves as I palm the deck. Do you see anyone else sitting here, monsieur? Brandishing a set of cards. So maybe we'll get a set of cards. Let's see. That's my guess. We do have a set of cards here. Let's see what they look like. Oh, these are interesting. They're just black, like a matte black on the back. And this is what the cards look like. Pretty. Okay, so the next gift is on page 75, so I'll be back when I get to that. Okay, I've gotten to the next gift. So what's happened thus far? The saloon owner has decided he wants her to run roulette as well, and they've actually set up and painted a roulette table and all that. And there is this black man named Arthur. He's a free black man, and he's also an artist, and he befriends Simone, and he wants to paint her now. Okay, this says he finessed one spot more, then turned the canvas around. Shh. Xander just got back home, so the dogs are going nuts. All right, let me pull this out. I'm guessing this is his painting or something. Okay, this is his like quick sketch of Simone. Probably not something I'll keep. I will keep the deck of cards, but I probably won't keep this. Alright, our next gift is on page 197, so it'll be a while until I get to that one. I will probably get to that tonight, I imagine. It's currently 9:15, so I think so. So I'll be back. Okay, so I just got to page 197. Okay, so a couple things. One, she's not from France. People confused her from being from France because of her accent and because she can speak French, but she's actually from New Orleans. Also, her and Arthur, the free black man, they formed a relationship even though it's very much not allowed. It's illegal for them to be together. And then this other gentleman, my mind just went blank on what his name is. He decided that he wanted her, and he ended up killing Arthur. And she spent the next year plus traveling and searching for this man. She wanted to bring him to justice. But now she has established herself as, I don't think I can pronounce the word, but pretty much a dealer, a blackjack dealer. She opened her own place in Nevada and established her own gambling emporium. And who does appear? But David, who is the man that she was originally engaged to before she ran off after all this time. Her and David are now partners. They've decided to be partners. And he suggested a new game called Chuck-a-Luck. And from the sounds of it, I think it kind of sounds like craps. Yeah, it's something with dice. So that's what they're kind of talking about right now. This says, "Well, please, Madame Dumont, don't let me stand in your way. In that moment, I felt as if no one could. I rolled the dice." And when she established herself in Nevada, she took on a new name, and that's when she became Eleanor Dumont. So I'm guessing, because this is definitely not dice, I'm guessing this has something to do with Chuck-a-Luck. Sounds like maybe there's dice in there. Okay, this is really cool. It looks like a big book. It says, "Try Your Luck, Chuck-a-Luck, 1849. Oh, so yeah, it's the game. And it says, like here, how to play. This is neat. I love games, so this is definitely something I'll be keeping as well. I'm very much enjoying the gifts in this box. And I'm enjoying the story. It's not too much Old West kind of stuff. There's a lot to do with the gambling and all that, and so I'm enjoying that. Alright, let me see what time it is. Okay, so it is 11:28. Don't know that I'll finish the book tonight, but the next gift isn't just these many pages. It's on page 218. So I'll be back very, very soon. Okay, so I just got to the final gift. So what's happening at this point? Eleanor, she witnessed this young girl and this older man together, and then he seemed aggressive with her, and she spotted them later and offered to hide the girl pretty much. And Gerald, that was the man's name, he's been looking for his girl, and he believes that she's there at Eleanor's gambling emporium. And a couple of days later, she runs into him on the street, and this is like they're having an interaction. She said, "Bonjour. I did not break my stride. However, I twisted my parasol to my other side to keep an eye on him." So, will we get a parasol? I don't know. This is the final gift. So we do, in fact, have a parasol, a cute little polka dot umbrella, which I'm not going to open up right now. Also, my battery is about dead, but this is the final gift. Okay, I'm going to go before my battery dies, and I'm going to keep reading for a little while, and I'll probably be back tomorrow to share my final thoughts. Okay, so I actually finished A Betting Woman. I think I'm going to give this one, I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. I found it really, really interesting. And I think it's because of the whole, blackjack thing and the evolution of it and all of that. I think that's why it's a 4-star for me. Because this is something I think I could see myself reading again. But I did enjoy it. And it looks as though I'm not going to bed just yet. So I might as well go ahead and roll and see what the next one's going to be. Okay, so let's roll and see what the next one's going to be. 5. That's a really good roll, I hope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is sci-fi or fantasy. Okay, this is a chunky one, but I'm feeling like as long as what happens last month doesn't happen again this month, I've got a pretty good shot because, at this point, I'm over halfway through the board. Now, this happened last month, too. Yeah, this happened last month, and it didn't end up working out well, but I feel a little bit safe. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to go with The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. Beautiful, beautiful edition. Let's see. This says, the gods love to play with us mere mortals, and every 100 years we let them. I've never been favored by the gods, far from it, thanks to Zeus. Living as a cursed office clerk for the Order of Thieves, I just keep my head down and hope the capricious beings who rule from Olympus won't notice me. Not an easy feat given San Francisco is Zeus's patron city, but I make do. I survive. Until the night I tangle with a different god. The worst god, Hades. For the first time ever, the ruthless mercurial king of the underworld has entered the crucible. The deadly contest of gods hold to determine a new ruler to sit on the throne of Olympus. But instead of fighting their own battles, the gods name mortals to compete in their stead. So why in the underworld did Hades choose me, a sarcastic nobody with a curse on her shoulders, as his champion? And why does my heart trip every time he says I'm his? I don't know if I'm a pawn, bait, or something else entirely to this dangerously tempting god. How can I, when he has more secrets than the stars in the sky? Because Hades is playing by his own rules, and death will win at any cost. Also, look at this beautiful edition. But she is thick. Let's see. 509 pages. So I'm going to get started on this tonight. I definitely will not be finishing it tonight, though, because it's after 1 a.m. Hopefully I'll be going to bed kind of soon. Okay, so I didn't end up reading any of this last night. I ended up having like a little snack and then I got tired and just ended up going to bed. But I have spent the entire day reading it. It's now 11 p.m. and I just finished reading this. But this was so good. I very, very, very much enjoyed it. This is like the Hunger Games meets an adult version of like Percy Jackson with a little bit of smut thrown in there. Just a little bit. Like one scene. But our main character, Lyra, she has lived with this curse her whole life. And it's, okay, so when her mother was pregnant with her, she went to Zeus's temple to ask for a blessing. And while there, her water broke. And Zeus is really mad about it. So he cursed the child, Lyra, to never be able to be loved. And that's really sucked for Lyra. It wasn't that people hated her, it was just that nobody could ever really love her. And so when she was 3 years old, her parents ended up giving her to the Thieves Guild to pay off a family debt. And she's never heard from them since. And even after years ago, her family debt was paid off, but she still stays with the Thieves Guild because she's got no one and nowhere else to go. And every 100 years, there's this thing called the Crucible. It's a competition to see which god is going to rule Olympus. And each of the gods, they choose a mortal to compete in their stead. And this is like a very brutal, deadly, tricky competition. And many do not survive. Most don't survive. And Lyra is not a fan of the Crucible at all. But she ends up being selected by Hades, of all people. And Hades has never competed in this. So people are kind of freaking out about that. And why in the world did he choose Lyra, of all people? And he has his own reasons for doing this, but this was intense. This was a very deadly competition, as I said, and it was a lot of good people were lost in the process. But also, Hades isn't quite what Lyra expected either, because for one, he's hot, and so of course they form a thing. And this was a lot of fun. I'm giving this 4.5 stars, and I definitely want to continue this series whenever the next book comes out. Okay, so now I need to roll and see what my next book is. Kind of sucks, though, that this book took me so long to read. I only have 1 day left to get through the rest of this board. I'm nervous. All right, let me point this down, and we'll see what we get next. Okay, something that would be really great is if I rolled a 1 and then I could skip right to the end. That would be awesome. Otherwise, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 would also be great because I could do a graphic novel, something quick. I just want to avoid this guy. All right, let's see what we get. 2, not very far. 1, 2. Okay, so... oh, goodness. That's a nonfiction. Let me see what I can find. Okay, so my nonfiction books are on this top shelf and this shelf, and then all of my travel ones here. So what I decided to go with for this one is Open Book by Jessica Simpson. This is, I guess, just a memoir of her life. And it's also got journal entries from back when she was 15, stuff like that. I like Jessica Simpson. I think she's funny. I've always enjoyed her music. So, yeah, this is what I'm going to go with. Good morning, or I should say afternoon, because it is now noon. I just finished Open Book by Jessica Simpson. So this talks about how when she was really little, 2 or 3, something like that, her mom was in a car accident where Jessica got seriously hurt, cracked her head open. She struggled with speaking. She had a bad stutter for a long time, and they did all these speech therapies and things like that. And in order to help with getting her words out, she started singing her words, because when she would sing, she didn't stutter. It also talked about how she was bullied in middle school, how her whole audition thing with the Mickey Mouse Club, where she was with Ryan Gosling, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, and Britney Spears, and how she bombed that. And she knew that she would be interacting with these girls, Britney and Christina, again in the future, which she did. It also talks about her relationship with Nick Lachey and their whole everything, and all the relationships since then. It talks about how she was abused by the daughter of a friend of the family for years and having to come forward about that. It also talks about her struggle with her weight and her struggle with alcohol and having kids and all of that stuff. And I really enjoyed it. I really like Jessica a lot. I think I'm going to give this one a 3.75. I don't see myself reading it again, but I did very much enjoy it. Now I need to roll again so we can see what we have next. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spots until the end. Hopefully I can get this done. Hopefully we don't end up with a bunch of rewinds because that killed me last time. So let me face this camera down and we'll see what I get next. All right. 10 spots to get to there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The max I can look for is YouTube recommends or BookTube, Book Talk, whatever. 1. That's not good. Okay. So this is an LGBT plus book. Okay. You know how on day one I said we're doing good and I risked picking a bigger book? I'm regretting that now because now we're creeping along. I'm nervous. Okay, I'm gonna go see what I can find for this and I'll be back. Okay, so I didn't have anything I think on my TBR for the month, so I selected The Relationship Mechanic by Carmen Lee. This is a sapphic rom-com. It says, there's more than one way to love and more than one place to call home in this rousing small-town romantic comedy that's sure to charm fans of Hannah Bonham Young's Next to You and Ashley Herring Blake's Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. There's no fix for a lonely heart like a little TLC. Jessica J.N. Miller came to Peach Blossom, Georgia for a visit, not a breakdown. But when a rental car dies on the outskirts of town, mechanic Lavinia Vinnie Williams provides a tow and a very welcome jump start to Jessica's heart. It's been a minute since Jessica's last fling, her relationship specialty, and Vinnie checks all the right boxes. If only the sexy car whisperer seemed interested. Vinnie knows herself and what she wants. She loves her job, her family, her hometown, but she'd love to fall in love. Jessica stirs up all the right feelings, but the city girl has no intention of staying in Peach Blossom. Why sign up for a broken heart? But the temptation is real as Vinnie goes out of her way to drive a careless Jessica around town. The pair can't seem to keep their distance or their hands to themselves. With only 6 weeks to figure out where the red-hot chemistry might lead, Vinnie and Jessica will have to decide if home can be where the heart is, when the heart only knows how to run. Okay, and this one is just under 300 pages. It's 283 pages, so this should hopefully be a quick read. Okay, so it's almost 4:30 now, and I just finished The Relationship Mechanic. I think I'm going to give this one 2 stars. It was mostly just annoying. Right off the bat, Jessica and Vinnie, they hit it off. They decide they're going to have, like, Jessica straight up tells her, I'm only here for a little while. I don't want any kind of serious relationship, but, we can fool around if you want. And they did. They jumped right into fooling around. And this book was pretty much just smut, because it was just like them sneaking around, doing things, and people on both sides are like, hey, you shouldn't do that. Y'all don't need to be with each other, blah, 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 blah. And people constantly pestering them about not being with each other. And them both being like, we're grown adults. We can do what we want. We're just having fun. And literally, that is the entire book until about right here. And then at that point, it's like, oh yeah, I do want to have a relationship. Now that you've broken up with me because you want something more. Now I want to have something more. Come to Italy with me to meet my family and let's get a place together. This book was annoying. So, yeah, that one's going to be unhauled. But now I have to roll again. At this point, because there's like 10 spaces, that means I'm probably going to have to read 1, maybe 2, possibly more books. And I'm running out of time. Let me see what we get. All right, big number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be a TBR bet. That's the biggest number I can get. Come on, baby. 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's a graphic novel. Okay, That's not so bad. Okay, so I grabbed The Wicked and the Divine, the Faust Act. I honestly don't remember anything at all about this. It's by Kieran Gillian, Jamie McKelvey, and Matthew Wilson. It says, return with a modern fantasy where gods are the ultimate pop stars and pop stars are the ultimate gods. This collects the first 5 issues of the Eisner Award nominated comic, plus supplementary material. So, yeah, this is what I'm going to read. What it looks like. I should be able to get through this pretty quickly, I think. Alright, let's go. Okay, it's about 5:15, and I just finished The Wicked and the Divine, the Faust Act, and I really wasn't feeling this. I think I'm giving it 2 stars. In here, gods are like rock stars. They're like normal people that kind of get sucked into, let's see if I can find it, the pantheon here, and they go from being their normal selves to whatever god. This particular one is Lucy, aka Lucifer. And Lucifer is currently in prison because of she snapped her fingers and killed some people. And while in court, she threatened to snap her finger at the judge, but apparently somebody else did it, and now they blame Lucy. So Lucy's in prison, and somebody is trying to help them out. I really wasn't feeling it. Let me roll and see what our next book's going to be. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so if I happen to roll a 6, I'm done. I win the game. The only thing I don't want is a 4. All right, let's see what we get. No! That puts me on rewind. Crap. All right, so now I got to roll and go backwards. I don't want to. How about a 1? 4. Okay. I have to read another graphic novel. Okay. Well, the only thing I didn't want to get was rewind. That's exactly what I got. Fortunately, what I landed on was another graphic novel. But it still means my next roll, I have to roll at least a 6 to be done. But I still have to pass. Rewind first. So I selected the Backstagers Volume 1, Rebels Without Applause. It says, when Jory transfers to an all-boys private high school, he's taken in by the only ones who don't treat him like the new kid. The lowly stage crew known as the Backstagers. Not only does he gain great lifetime friends, Jory is also introduced to an entire magical world that lives beyond the curtain. With the unpredictable twists and turns of the underground world, the Backstagers venture into the unknown, determined to put together the best play their high school has ever seen. James Tinian IV teams up with the artist Ryan Sy for an incredibly earnest story that explores what it means to find a place to fit in when you're kind of an outcast. Alright, so I'm going to go read this. Hello, Snickerdoodle. Hi. Okay, so it's nearly 6 p.m. and I just finished the Backstagers. This was cute. Jory, his mom wants him to get involved in an after-school activity, and he decides that he's going to go for a drama club. But once he gets there, the actors are horrible, and he ends up meeting the Backstagers, and yeah, he fits in right away, and there's literally a magical world back there. He's like, how does all this fit under the school? It's just not possible. Apparently, the stage crew from like 1987 went too far deep into this magical world that they were never able to get out. They were never found. This was cute. I think I'm giving this one a 3.5. Okay, let's roll to see what we get next. Okay, let's not get another 4, please. 1. Okay. So that is to steal a book from somebody else's TBR. Okay. Let me see what I can find. Okay, so I'm really, really hoping that this ends up being the last book because this is going to be pushing it. So for this, I have to steal a book from somebody else's TBR. And what I decided to do was to go on Discord for the TBR Trail channel and look for somebody who's posted their TBR for Team Asari, which is the team I'm on, and take somebody's book off of there. So Jenny K reads for her prompt, book set in Australia. She selected Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. And I have this on Hoopla, so that's what I'm going to select for this one. It says it's a 9.5 hour audiobook. So if I'm listening to it, say at 2 times speed, that's going to be just under 5 hours, which will put me at 11 o'clock tonight. Hopefully I'll be able to listen to it a little bit quicker, but we'll see. This is not one I physically own. This says, Knives Out and Clue meets Agatha Christie and the Thursday Murder Club in this fiendishly clever blend of classic and modern murder mystery. Everyone in my family has killed someone. Some of us, the higher achievers, have killed more than once. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it's the truth. Some of us are good, others are bad, and some just unfortunate. I'm Ernest Cunningham. Call me Ern or Ernie. I wish I'd killed whoever decided our family reunion should be at a ski resort, but it's a little more complicated than that. Have I killed someone? Yes, I have. Who was it? Let's get started. Everyone in my family has killed someone. My brother, my stepsister, my wife, my father, my mother, my sister-in-law, my uncle, my stepfather, my aunt, me. Okay, so I'm going to borrow this and start reading. Okay, it's like 10 p.m. and I just finished Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. And I think I'm going to give this one 3 stars. So in this, the narrator, Ernest, he talks to the readers all throughout the book and explains, how each of his family members has killed somebody. And so they're at this family reunion and there's a dead body, and his brother is supposed to be just getting out of jail from killing someone, and Ernest was the one that turned him in, and his brother is like prime suspect and stuff, but then his brother ends up dead too, and there's this whole conspiracy thing, and a lot of people die. And there's a lot of kind of twists and reveals. Well, maybe not twists, but a lot of nuggets drop throughout, and then the reveal kind of all comes together at once towards the end. It was okay. It was fine. I'm going to give that one 3 stars. Now I need to roll again. Let me point this down. Okay, so we need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a 5 or a 6 will have me complete the game. Anything but a 3. Preferably a 5 or a 6. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I'm going to roll again since it was off the camera, but it was a 2. All right. Let's try this again. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Dang it. It went off, but it was a 2 again. Let's try this again, where you can actually see it in the camera. 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still have to read something, but this is a mood read. So let me figure out what I'm going to read. Yay! We made it past that rewind. This will be the last book that I have to read because the next roll, a 1 or higher, gets me to the end of the game. So I decided to take it easy on myself because it is late and I want to ensure that I actually can complete whatever book. So I selected How to Tell If Your Cat is Plotting to Kill You. And this is a graphic novel. This should take me no time at all to get through. This says, How to Tell If Your Cat is Plotting to Kill You is a hilarious, brilliant offering of cat comics, facts, and instructional guides from the creative wonderland of at theoatmeal.com. Fan favorites such as Cat vs. Internet, How to Pet a Kitty, and the Bobcats, plus a crap ton of new, never-before-seen comics, such as How to Tell If Your Cat is A Raging Homosexual, and 6 Ways to Tell If Your Cat Thinks It's a Mountain Lion are presented in this must-have collection. This book also includes a pull-out poster of how to tell if your cat is plotting to kill you. I'm looking forward to reading this. Okay, it is now 10:40 and I just finished How to Tell If Your Cat is Plotting to Kill You. I think I'm giving this 4.5 stars. It was a lot of fun. I particularly like the having a baby versus having a cat at the end. I giggled quite a bit while reading this. It was a lot of fun. Okay, technically I don't really need to roll anymore, but I will just so we can say I made it to the end. Okay, we only need a 1 or higher. And we get a 1. Yay! Okay, so I successfully beat the game this month. Yay, which means I get to take one of my base spins off of my wheel of TBR. Real quick, let's go over how I did. So first off, I got beautiful cover. For that, I read Assistant to the Villain. And then I got Once Upon a Book Club. For that, I read A Betting Woman. And then I got fantasy or sci-fi. For that, I pushed my luck and read The Games Gods Play. Next, I got nonfiction, and for that, I read, where is it? Hold on. Open Book by Jessica Simpson. Then I got LGBT+, and for that, I read The Relationship Mechanic by Carmen Lee. Then I got graphic novel, which I read The Wicked and the Divine. Then I got Rewind, which sent me back to graphic novel. For that, I read The Backstagers. Then I got Mood Read, which I read another graphic novel. And that was How to Tell If Your Cat is Plotting to Kill You. So I managed to read all this. Oh, wait, no, I forgot one. After graphic novel, the second time, then I got Steals from Somebody Else's TBR. And for that, I read Everyone in My Family Will Die. Or has killed someone. Everyone in my family has killed someone. So I've read all of this plus that. Which is quite a bit. It's a heavy stack by itself. Cut it close, for sure. I was a little concerned. Not gonna lie. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, always be completely you. Bye!